welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Keto Simple. My name is Dustin. I'm so glad you're here. This stream will be starting soon, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and settle in. We're building a strong and supportive community, so say hello in the chat, ask questions, and feel free to use super chats if there's anything that you want to see highlighted. Thank you for being here and being a part of this journey. Let's keep it positive and respectful as we connect and grow together. I can't wait to get started. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday Morning Coffee with me, Keto Simple, Dustin. You know, the one, the only me. A lot of people look like me, but I'm the only one that is me. Oh, my goodness gracious. Last week, we started off talking about how to start, how to decide, how to choose between keto, carnivore, and the fact that you really don't need to choose between those things, right? There's a lot of things that can happen, a lot of things that you'll figure out about yourself. But today, I want to just start by saying so many people who want to change, and they want it all at once. I've been seeing videos of these gentlemen who are they're in the process of lifestyle shifts. They're trying to lose weight. They're both coming from around 600 plus pounds. Extremely, inspirational gentlemen. They're really putting the work in, but I see, they're posting every day over on Instagram, and they want it right now. And I mean, I understand, because especially once you start doing something like posting every day on Instagram, there comes with that certain expectations. I need it. I need it right now. I need it. I'm not, like one of them was saying, I'm doing everything. I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm eating, I'm hitting my macros. I'm exercising every day. I'm walking, I'm hitting my steps, and I gained 5 pounds. And I know how frustrating that can be. I understand that is and can be extremely devastating. Because when we're doing everything right, we're going by the book, and things don't go according to the way we think they should or the way that we're told they should, we get frustrated, we get upset. And I just hope, and I try to put comments into those chats or into those, that content that says, weight of the scale is a single data point. The weight on the scale is a single data point. And a complete overhaul of your lifestyle. If you're changing how you're eating, you're changing how you're moving, you're changing everything about your life. There are so many moving parts in a lifestyle shift like that. And we're relying and looking solely at one data point to show progress, to show success. I truly believe we set ourselves up for failure, because we're looking at just one tiny piece of information. And I see that in our community. I see that and it's not just the diet culture, the health space as a whole. I see it here in our community. And I hope that we can continue to spread the message that, yes, weight loss is important. Weight loss is typically what gets people in the door. That's what people get here for. They start because they want to lose weight. But weight loss is so much more nuanced, so much more goes into it than just the number on the scale. And I think that that keeps so many people from staying successful or keeping consistent, because as soon as the scale does something that they don't think it should do, they're often inclined to give up, quit. And I hope that we don't do that. But also, I want to talk about what else comes along with what we want right now. We want to flip a switch and suddenly be someone new with new habits and new disciplines and new relationships with food. And, that doesn't happen overnight. And we have to understand that. And we have to understand that if those things don't happen overnight, there isn't something wrong with you. There isn't something broken about you. Quite the contrary. Because we as humans, we are creatures of habit. But those habits are locked in over decades, especially for most of us, decades and decades of incorrect information, decades of doing it the wrong way because that's what we're told to do. So what I want to do is start today by saying this clearly. The problem is not you. The problem is how we talk about change. The problem is how the overarching look at success, the overarching of what it means to start, what it means to be on a lifestyle journey, all these things, right? And we tell people that they need a perfect plan instead of a realistic one. We sell extremes as the only option. I mean, because let's face it, there's a growing community out there who says that carnivore is the only way. If you're not eating carnivore, what the hell are you doing? If you're not eating carnivore, are you even trying? And while carnivore is extremely beneficial and extremely useful, it's only one method that people can utilize to find success. Same thing with keto. Was the same thing in 2016 when I started keto. My outlook was you have to do keto. It's the only way you're going to find success. It's the only way I found success. But that's the major difference. It's the only way that I found success. That doesn't mean it's the only way you would find success. We have to understand that what works for me, what works for you, what works for Josephine and Brian and Juliet and Amy and Evelyn and Sean and everybody in here, Thomas and Aaron and Andy and everybody, what works for you individually is going to be completely different from each of you. So people, if you are new here, welcome. And if you are coming here because you are worried that you are doing something wrong, to understand that we can't sell extreme as the only option. And we can't be shocked when people burn out if we do, or quit, or feel like failures. We can't. Because we have to understand, and I know we talk about this, and I've talked about this in multiple live streams, that we have to meet people where they are. And real change doesn't even necessarily start with the diet or the lifestyle or the way of eating that you choose. It starts with your own self-awareness. We all have to take deep dives and understand who we are. For some of us, extremely strict carnivore is the only way. For some of us, loosey-goosey, dirty keto is what's going to help you and what keeps you on track. But we have to understand each other. We have to understand who we are as an individual. And that's up to you. It is a difficult journey to find that self-awareness, find out who you really are. How do you actually behave under stress? What causes your stress? And then what, I understand when I get stressed out, I want to eat all the bad stuff, like, whether it's, getting snowed in, or it's, things don't go the way that I want them, or we get bad news, or I'm dealing with a lot of stressful situations with the kids. They get themselves into situations that I had to help dig them out of. Those things stress me out, and it makes me want to eat. It makes me want to eat the bad stuff. It makes me want to eat all the things that I shouldn't eat, and it makes me want to do it. But right now, the problem is those things that I want to eat are in the house, so it makes it even more difficult for me. But I'm self-aware to understand that these things happen, and I have to do my best to battle them. But I'm going to lose some of those battles. Who are we really? What has failed before? Why did it fail? Was it a me problem, or was it a I was trying the wrong thing problem? As I said, some people need strict carnivore because the rules keep them safe. Some people find success again with the loosey goosey keto, and the flexibility keeps them sane. Some people aren't ready for either of those things, and they're starting with a single ingredient whole food way of eating. And that might just be the win that they need right now, just making the change to not eating highly processed foods. And we have to be there to support them, be their cheerleaders. We need the pom poms out, shaking them, showing them that we care. Because if we're being honest, if our goal is to help the most people possible find health, then we have to stop demanding that everybody take the same path that we did, or that with the same path that we're on, because health is not a competition, and success does not require perfection. And these are points that I try to drive home, and I think they're so very important to keep at the forefront of what this community is about, is the fact that we have to make sure people understand that showing up is a bigger part of the battle than being perfect, because there is no perfect. But taking that time to be self-aware, taking the time to analyze our own stresses, how do we behave? Why do things bother us the way that they do? How do we work to stack the deck in our own favor? How do we cheat the system in a way that benefits us long term? Not just for today, not just for tomorrow, but long term. Because again, these are forever changes that we try to make. Now, whether you float in between keto and carnivore, or low carb, whatever you need to do for yourself, it's a long-term journey, and those things are going to shift. They're going to evolve. You're going to add and remove different things. You're going to try different things. You may try fasting, or try, going lion diet and removing butter, or whatever it is you're trying to do. You're going to try doing things without coffee, which I do not understand how anybody could do, because here's my coffee right here, right here. And I want to take a minute to say again, thank you to all of you sitting here in the chat with us today, with me today, with your coffee, without your coffee, ready to support anybody and everybody who is in this chat, in this community, because that's why we are here this morning. Do you ever just want to give a moment of silence for coffee, because it's just because in this crazy, chaotic world that we live in, when everything seems to be just falling apart and we seem so divided, at least the one thing, the one constant for me that I know that I can count on in this crazy world is coffee. At least for now. And you. You show up week in and week out. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and take another sip of this coffee. And let's say hello to some folks, because Evelyn's here. And we love Evelyn. She's amazing. She is a bright, shiny beacon of this community that I don't think we could do without. I'm pretty sure we couldn't do without Evelyn. I'm used to her being here, so she has to stay. Thomas is here. Good morning, Thomas. A good friend of mine, Thomas. We love Thomas. Mr. Googihan is here. He says, good morning. We're enjoying some bacon and eggs and a hot cup of coffee on this cold Central Florida morning. You know what? It is 2 degrees here. I'm going to venture to say that Central Florida is a lot warmer than 2 degrees. And if it isn't, my apologies. We go with Aaron is here. Good chilly morning, 16 degrees down here in the middle of Tennessee. Did you guys see that Chris and Ash were without power for like 4 or 5 days? I felt terrible. I wish we lived closer. I would have put them up on our couch. They could have lived in my crazy, my crazy house with my insane family. But they're 5 hours away. And that hurts my feelings. I want all my friends to live in the neighborhood. I want all of you guys to be close to me. I want all you guys to be nearby. But most of you live so far away, 16 hours away by car, days away. Aaron just started a coffee pot 22 minutes ago. Hopefully she's got it. Amy's here. Good morning, dear. So very, very glad to see you. Mr. Dish is in the house. 6 degrees in a frigid Pittsburgh. Well, that's what penguins do. Penguins live where it's cold. Oh, yeah, some of my. Ow. I get these little marks now on my face from my CPAP machine, so that's fun. But anyway, it's no bother. I breathe better at night, and that's okay. I sleep better. I'm not getting up every 2 hours to go potty. That's a big, huge deal for me, too. Evelyn is starting the hot kettle for electrolytes, the electric kettle for the electrolytes, then the coffee pot. I love it. And Andy is here. We knew it. We knew Andy was here because we love Andy. We can't do without her either. And Jen is here. Good morning with Jen. Hanging out with Jen today. And Mr. Rick is in the house. Rick. We got to get ready.
Let's get dangerous.
That's right. Welcome, Rick. Good to see you, my friend. Sean is here. Good morning, Sean. I'm so glad to see you as well. Hope you and Shell are doing wonderful. And Andy's talking about her and Susan last night. Put Vaseline on their feet and went ice skating in the bathroom. No, Vaseline on their feet last night before bed. It's so dry here that our feet need some attention. Hoping they feel better today and not so dry and cracked. That is, my feet get dry and cracked in the summertime because I wear flip-flops all the time. I'm a flip-flop guy. I like them. I like flip-flops. Christian DeLorme is here. My friend Christian from way up north and the Canada. Up in Canada. Welcome. Bonjour, everybody, says Christian DeLorme. Thank you for being here. Long time no see, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Rick says no one looks like me. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not completely wrong there. My nose is a little stuffy. The kids are passing stuff around. I think Shander's a little sick a little bit. All the lovely stuff. Rick is a diamond in the rough. You know, Rick is a diamond in the rough. Very, very rough. Very, very rough. Josephine, howdy. All the way from Australia. Thank you for being here, dear. So very glad to see you. You sent me that email. Let me see if I can pull the email up again. Let me see. Because I want to because Josephine sent me an awesome photo. And I don't remember if did I download it? Let me see. Did I even download this photo? I didn't. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to look at this. Josephine sent me a photo, and I wanted a photo of a painting that she made for us, and I want to show you guys because I think it's so awesome. I just got to go back. I think I was supposed to show it last Sunday, and I was going to show it Tuesday, or I was going to show it Tuesday or something. So my apologies for this, but we're here for a while. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's see. Trying to figure out why it's not trying to let me download this. Let's see. There we go. Download attachment. Re-download attachment. I want to send it to my drive. Upload. There we go. Thank you for your patience, my friend. My friends. That's not the same one. You sent me. Oh, there. Oh, wait. No, wait. That's okay. All right. Okay, that's the new one. Okay, because there was a one with the old one too. She had sent me a painting from before I showed you guys. There we go. Let's download this thing here and we'll bring it up where we can. All right. There we go. We got me. We got Chandra up in the bird's nest thing up here. We're on a struggle bus boat. I don't know where it's a boat and a struggle bus and the Jolly Roger. And we got Evil Lynn and a duck. There we go. I love it. Struggle bus. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you so very much. It's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Josephine. Yes. Andy says, I'm just waiting for the weather to go from now to at least 32 degrees so I can walk outside again. Yeah. I mean, I don't know when it's supposed to get up to 30 degrees tomorrow. Low of 18, high of 30. Then Tuesday is low of 10, high of 29. Wednesday is the low of 4, 23. And then Thursday is 21 and 31. So it seems like a heat wave is a coming, but we'll see. We'll see, because today is February the 1st. Can you believe it? We're already into the second month of 2026. Time flies. It flies for sure. And all of you wonderful people are saying hello to each other. And Coach Juliet is here. Morning, I woke up early and finally made a live. 6:30 a.m. her time. Evelyn is right. If we lived on a different planet, the gravitational number would be different. Want to lose mass, not weight. Yes. And Andy says, happy February. Another month. January lasted far longer than it had to. I don't know. I try not to rush things because things seem to rush anyway, and it never seems to be enough time to accomplish all the things that I would like to accomplish. So let's slow it down a little bit. Maybe February is a short month, only 28 days. It's not a leap year. So not 29 days this month, 28. So let's relax a little bit. Slow it down. Slow it down. And Sean is right. Sean says for a lot of people, this is their last ditch effort. It was for me. It was for me a last ditch effort because nothing else has worked. But we have to look at why didn't it work? And if we don't come at this the correct way, this may not work for us either. Because there's no guarantees, right? There's nothing guaranteed. Brian Doyle is in the house. Good morning, Mr. Doyle. So very glad to see you, my friend. How are you? Jeff is here. Good morning, Mr. Jeff. Mr. Jeff. Yes. 26 watching, only 9 likes. What? That's crazy. Hit that like button if you wouldn't mind for me, please. Click share. Copy that link. And if you're so inclined, share it on your socials. Wherever you communicate with all the people that you know. Josephine says, tired, no nap today, hoping to sleep well tonight. I hope you sleep well tonight, too. And I know it is your night. It is nighttime for you because you're on the other side of the planet. It's already tomorrow for you, I'm pretty sure. Or close to it, anyway. I'm not sure how far ahead of us you are. Juliet says, in real life coaching, the average person does not want to go carnivore. And I don't talk labels. We reduce sugar first. As clients become aware of their own body, most settle into low carb. And I think that that's perfectly acceptable. I think that realistically, the average person is not going to go to, and I use the word extreme lightly, because I don't think that the average person is going to go to the extreme that is a strict ketogenic diet, that is a strict carnivore diet, because they have been living a standard American diet for so long. So just cutting out a bulk of the carbs and the processed foods and a bulk of the sugars is extreme for them. And I mean, realistically, mainstream media is going to tell you, and I use that term loosely because even the term mainstream media is kind of one of those politicized terms, right? So we have to look at that with a grain of salt. But maybe mainstream knowledge, what we take as mainstream information, mainstream knowledge, the zeitgeist that is us as a society, would look at the reduction of what is the standard American diet as extreme. Low carb is extreme. Why are you going to cancel out an entire macro or a macronutrient? Pretty nuts. Rick says, I went on a walk this morning and not a fallen iguana in sight. You know they're not going to. Do you know that the iguanas are probably never going to just fall into your lap? They're going to hit other people in the head. Like Chandra's dad. They're likely to hit him in the head, even though he lives even a little bit further south than you do. Jeff says, cold everywhere in the eastern states. Brr, brr, it's cold in here. There must be some toros in the atmosphere. Anyway, that's a throwback to the early 2000s for you. If you're a movie weirdo like me, name that movie. Do you know what that one is? I love coffee. It's so delicious. Aaron says you may need to walk outside of your 20-mile radius. Does he even have a 20-mile radius? Figure you had like a 20-block radius. Evelyn, they do indeed. Iguanas will fall out of trees if it gets too cold because they're cold-blooded and they will just freeze and fall to the ground. Like, you gotta watch out for coconuts and iguana. Julia says, I love your message, Justin. You are an amazing coach. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it does. We'll see how things go. Oh, Amy, I understand. I can't do anything without coffee. I get up in the morning and I get our little girl ready to go to school. I get our granddaughter to go to school, get her up, make her food, feed her, get her out the door, and then I come home and have my coffee. Because to me, coffee is one of those personal things. Coffee is an experience for me, right? So I want to really, coffee is great on a long drive where I can sip it and watch, sip as the miles go by, sit in my living room, sit here in this office, sit here and talk with you and drink my coffee. But I kind of feel like if I can get a chance to just, my day is going to be good. If I can just have my coffee and just get my day started in the way that I choose, that's what I want. Evelyn says, started my morning with a nosebleed. Oh, that's no fun. Tired of the dry cold. Oh, yeah. Like, I probably just need to get use the tea kettle, fill it up with water, and let it just kind of blow steam to the air for a kettle worth. I don't know if that would help much at all, if like that would be enough enough moisture in the air to make a difference how dry the house is, but I don't know. And Juliet, moment of silence for coffee. Yes, to celebrate coffee. Stacy is here. Good morning, Stacy. She's got her coffee. Carl says, I was listening to an interview with a guy that grew up in Gwen Shamblin's cult church and her way down workshops. I was shocked at the crap she put people through to help them lose weight. I don't know if I know that story, but I know but you can look at like The Biggest Loser and what they're putting people through. And it's crazy that we have Adrian in our community and she went through that and she was a finalist, I think third runner-up, third place in season 3 of Biggest Loser. And she has, obviously a firsthand account of how things go, how things work, how they worked. That, that's like each week is like a month. So each episode you see was like a month or whatever. So it wasn't like week to week. It was like month to month for each episode. And I think even the way that they talk about that show, even the way that even the way that like the show was aired, where people thought, oh, they're losing whatever this week. They've lost 30 pounds this week. Oh my goodness. I remember I watched like one episode one time at a buddy's house, and they were like, you won the challenge. You can have a cupcake. How does that help a person heal their relationship with food? But anyway, I don't want to get off on that. But one thing I do want to talk about, I want to take a moment here to talk about Keto Palooza. Okay. Keto Pawinna. We're the Keto Pawinnas. That was my team. We were winners. Winner, best name. But anyway, I want to talk about Keto Palooza. Let's go ahead and bring that up here, ladies and gentlemen. Because I didn't talk about it yesterday. I had a guest on yesterday, but I did not talk about it with Mr. Red Shirt on the phone, on the line. But Keto Palooza, if you are unaware, it is a low carb ketogenic family reunion presented by Keto Chow. Here are tickets. You can get your tickets. The early bird tickets have sold out. Obviously, normal tickets are still available. Sale ends October 10th, 7 p.m. But I think they usually sell out before that. It's at the Founders Union. We can look at the speakers. Again, we know we have Ken and Nisha Berry. We'll see if there's anybody new that I am not aware of. But we've got Ken and Nisha, Maria Emmerich, we got Kim Howerton, Courtney Luna. We have Robert Sykes, Autumn Weathers. So Robert Sykes is new. I have not met Robert before. I have talked with him, about Keto Brick, but I've never met Mr. Sykes. But Autumn will be there, obviously. More speakers to be announced. Now, so our kid, our oldest son, our middle child, talked us into going to dinner the other night, and he wanted us to be at dinner alone. But our daughter, grandkids, and her fiance went with us. But so we didn't really have anything to talk about at dinner, but find out that our son is back in school, which I'm very excited about. I'm excited that he's back in school and that their wedding is back on. They were supposed to get married back in October. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, some relationship issues, and some things that happened in their personal lives, that was disrupted and postponed. We were under the impression that it was going to be indefinitely, but then they reconciled, got back together, and now it is on again for this October coming up, and they're getting married on a Thursday. So he drops this this bomb on us that yes, they're getting married on Thursday, the Thursday of Keto Palooza, October the 8th. So, so I'm still going to do my best to make it there on the 8th. It'll probably be late at night, but I don't want to drive down early in the morning on the 9th. That's my kids, I swear, they push me to the limits. And I know that sounds bad, that I'm upset at them, and I'm not upset at them that I don't want to miss I wouldn't miss his wedding. But they pick the worst dates. They just do. They do. I don't know why they do this to me, but they do. They pick the worst dates. And then the next week, our daughter and her fiance are getting married, but they're doing it at the courthouse. So that's going to be a thing. But anyway. So I will be there late sometime October the 8th after stuff. I'll probably have to just jump in the car. I have to have my bags packed in the car, ready to go. Day of the wedding, do the wedding. I don't know what time the wedding is. I don't know. We were going through the whole thing, planning the wedding. We had the venue. They're doing the same venue. Oh, remember we did that on a Sunday live a couple like last year. We were showing you, it was early last year. We were showing you, I was showing you the venue, and it's the glass like atrium type venue, and it was beautiful. Now that's what we're going to do at the same place because they didn't get their deposit back. My children. It's a wonder I stress eat. But anyway, that's what's happening for me. So that's the thing. And I was like, really? You can't move it? No. I'm like, I literally asked my kid to move his wedding for Keto Palooza. That's my dedication here, folks. I literally at dinner, I was like, really? Really? But I will make this work. That's my default. That's what I do for this family, for you, for anybody that's in my life. I do what I can to make it work. Am I disappointed? Of course. Am I excited my kid's getting married? Right now, I'm a little upset with him for doing it on that date. And kind of, I knew it was probably coming. I knew they were probably going to end up getting married, planning it again, but I just didn't. If I was thinking, I probably should have thought that. But anyway. Stacy says, Ken is doing better. He started to get his feeling back in his arms and legs and had been so bad from the pinched spinal cord in his neck. I take him to OSU tomorrow for a checkup. Well, safe travels. We love you both very, very, very much. And I want you guys to heal, and be healthy because I need you in my life. Both of you. Both of you. You understand me? Take care of each other, please. I love both of you. Please be happy and healthy. And I need some love and hugs from you both very soon as possible. Again, I also want to talk about, so we've talked about Keto Palooza. So let me go ahead and knock this off here real quick. And we'll put this out of sight, out of mind for a little bit. Now, I want to bring up my calendar because I got to remember what the date is. And maybe Andy can put this in Andy knows what date it is. It's March something, right? March. It's the first Monday in March. The first Monday in March. Amy's aware. Andy's aware. I'm not sure who else was in Two Crazy Ketos live on Thursday. But they are going to be in Elkhart, Indiana, the first week of March. So it looks like the first Monday in March, we are going to be meeting up at Smoking Fatties. It's on our calendar. We are going to be there, and provided nothing unforeseen happens in my life, that's always a possibility. But Chandra and I are working to be there. So if you've wanted to meet Chandra, she will do her best to be there. Last time we were meeting up at Smoking Fatties, she had she got sick and she was just miserable. So she didn't go. And so we will plan for that. So I don't know if hopefully Stacy and Ken will be happy and healthy by then. Lisa, you'll have to come up there. All of you will have to come up there. It's a Monday. So, I mean, it is a Monday. So it is difficult for some people to come up there. But yeah. And Sean had a nosebleed last week. Dry weather. Yeah. Just be careful not to pick your nose, because you can pick your nose, you can pick your friends, but you shouldn't pick your friend's nose unless you have express written permission. Amy says it's a balmy -1 here in northern Indiana. You are 3 degrees colder than, because it's 2 here. It's 2 with a winds of 3 miles per hour. Biscuits in the house. Good morning, Biscuit. So very glad to see you. Mr. Gugahan says it is 23 degrees there in Florida. 10 where Juliet is. And Evelyn says, if you live closer to them, you wouldn't have power either. I don't need your sass, okay? I don't need your sass, Evelyn. Keep your sass to yourself. And I mean, and if they live different, he wouldn't be Chris Cook in Nashville. He'd be like Chris Cook in Evansville or something. Oh, my goodness. Sean, be quiet, Sean. Can't dispute that logic. Yes, you can. Oh, my goodness. See, Stacy says, oops, sign in under the Hillbilly Quail page instead of Easy Peasy Keto. That's okay. Carl says, you are enough. Find what works. Your journey towards progress, not perfection. Find what works. Stay encouraged. Keep moving forward. Love you all. You are enough. That's right. I love it. Brian hit 225 this morning, another new low. I don't think I've been 225 since 1985. I don't think I've been 225 since the first time I hit it going on the way up. So let's do it. Lisa's here. Good morning, dear. How are you? Yeah, Josephine says she was inspired by Thomas. Thomas had been painting, I think, or drawing. I can't. I try to remember everything. Oh yeah. And that's what matters the most, is you enjoyed doing it and you had fun and it gave you joy. I love that. Cindy is here. Good morning, Cindy. We love Cindy. Cindy's the best. Oh my goodness. Carl saying, do we have permission to turn that painting into a t-shirt? Yes. Good morning, Terry. So glad to see you. How are you doing, dear? Oh, yeah. Nothing is guaranteed for sure. That's true. Very, very true. Josephine, yes. Put it on a shirt. Oh, my goodness. I went to a comedy show last night. I ended up getting free tickets to go to see The Killers That Killed Tony. Enjoyed that very much. Harlan Williams, Hans Kim, David Lucas, and oh my goodness, I don't know why I can never remember his name. That's just crazy, crazy. It was Martin Phillips. Martin Phillips. Martin Phillips. At Clues Memorial Hall at Butler. So I was on Butler campus last night on a Saturday night, not for a frat party, though I'm sure there were plenty of them going around. But I was not invited to one of those. Andy said had to step away for a minute. Back to 2X to catch up. That's cool. Chipmunk Dustin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chipmunk Dustin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sean says, when we first started doing dirty keto with net carbs, that's when we lost all of our weight. We went stricter for health reasons. It was easier going from dirty keto to strict before we cut out. And I mean, that's what happened with us. But I mean, when we started the ketogenic lifestyle in 2016, yeah, 2016, didn't sound right in my head when I said it, but it was net carbs was what you did. There was not, the idea of total carbs was not even on the table. I didn't even know, like, I didn't even think people was like total carb. I'm sure I never stopped to think about it because I was thinking to myself, you know, we were adding broccoli and cauliflower and things to our food, you know, as food to us to eat. And Like looking at the total carbs, it was like you can't have any of there's total carbs. But like green beans, I love green beans. I mean, that's probably just from my childhood. My grandmother made great green beans. My grandmother always added, she always added equal of all things to green beans. I'm not sure why. And I mean, you're not really supposed to heat up aspartame. So who knows what that's done to me over the years, but here we are. Aspartame is not a good heated. That's why you don't make warm dishes with aspartame, because heating it up is not good. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, how is Brian? How are you all doing? Right now, he's still in bed, but he is hurting for sure. What happened now? What have I missed? I feel like I haven't had a chance to see anything. What's going on? What's happened to Brian? What happened? Did he fall? What's going on? Just tell me what's going on with Brian. Uh, Thomas had his bacon and eggs just now. I wish somebody would cook for me, damn it. I want someone to cook for me. Because if I eat, I got to go downstairs and cook it. Ain't nobody cooking for me unless I want to eat whatever they're cooking, which is, I mean, that's fair, but I want someone to cook for me every once in a while. Uh, Amy says I need to look up the Gwen shambling story. I don't know. Do I need that in my life right now? I don't know. Too much going on. Evelyn is correct. KPL 26 or bust. And Biscuit says, as a culture, we consume things packaged into labels. Simply avoiding them can be kickstarts toward health. Yeah. And again, I was talking, as I was talking with my good friend Redshirt yesterday, we were talking about the idea that, I mean, somebody brought up the idea that, we need something, we need it oversimplified. We need convenience. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. The problem with today's society is convenience is everything, because we're stretched so thin as a society. You've got most homes are two income families. The wife and husband both have to work, or whatever, both partners have to work. In most circumstances, everybody needs to work. There's kids, there's soccer, there's football, there's baseball, there's softball, there's sports, there's after school activities, they've got church, they've got whatever, they've got anything and everything. And then the parents have all the obligations, grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning, and everything that has to happen. The one thing that gets dropped to the wayside is the convenience of food. Drive-through, prepackaged meals, things you can throw in the freezer. I mean, realistically, how hard would it be if maybe we could look at a series of making, like, basically, like, your own frozen dinners, right? Prepackaged frozen dinners. Get that come in oven safe, that you can put them in oven safe containers that fit in your freezer, that may fit, like, think about like the Encore, the Swanson, the things like that are awful for us, that are prepackaged, highly processed, all the worst ingredients, the preservatives. But say you make a big batch of something, right? And you make a big enough thing for 5 full dinners for the family. And then you put those into 5 containers. And then, I mean, granted, you have to have the space in the freezer to do this, but then you put that, so then you have 5 Mondays ready to go. And if you did that, and I know that there's not a lot of time, but if you can do that once a week, then you're going to have, you should always be kind of ahead, right? And I mean, we just need to find a way for convenience. This is where crock pot meals come into play. This is where instant pot things come in. This is where, just making frozen burger patties and maybe hot dogs for the family comes into play. How do we get people in a situation where they understand how to make the best foods for themselves in a manner that they have time for? And again, we have to meet people where they are, and that's not just with their food choices, but that's also the convenience that they need because they are stretched thin. How many people, like when I worked an 8-hour job, but it was a 10 hours. My job was 10 hours of my day at a minimum. An 8-hour job is 10 hours of your day, not including getting up, getting ready to leave the house. That's 11 hours, really. You get up, you have to get up, you have to get ready, you have to shower. And granted, you have to do that normally anyway, but part of that is you have to wake up. And this is after I didn't have the obligation to get the kids awake for school or whatever. I had to be at work by 9, but you still have to get up in time to get showered, get your coffee, get on the car, get on the road, drive a half an hour, get there. And then you're at an 8-hour job for 9 hours because you had an hour lunch and they wouldn't let you cut it because you had to be there from 9 to 6. And then you leave work at 6. If you're lucky to get out right at 6, then another half hour, 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes there, half hour, 45 minutes home, depending on traffic, construction. So there's 10 or 11 hours of your day in just traveling. Then you've got to go to the store. A lot of times there's store things that have to happen. There's things that the kids need. You've got to go get this for this. You got to get that for them. You got to do this. You got to get dinners together. So what do you end up doing? You end up going to the drive-through. You end up picking up, one of the biggest go-tos for us back then was these bagged fajitas. They were fajita in a bag. Legitimately, they came with everything you needed. I think they even came with frozen tortillas. If I remember, maybe they didn't, but it was like rice and the meat and the veggies, and the chicken and everything was already in it. You put that in a skillet, and it had frozen, like the frozen sauce things that go in there, and you put that in the pan, and all you needed was some cheese, some sour cream, and some tortillas. I made that all the time because by the time I got home, I had to make sure the kids did their homework. I had to make sure the dishes got done, the house got clean. You need to do all that before you even got a chance to go to bed. So, I mean, realistically, I know we talk and we demonize convenience. We demonize convenience and we say, why aren't people cooking dinners? They don't have time. And then, with Chandra, she was working 12-hour shifts, working into the night. This is the nursing school, out of nursing school, as a nurse, working 12-hour shifts. Come home, she's exhausted. I mean, she came home last night. I was gone, but she came home and she was so exhausted. She started her morning, with a code. She started her day giving somebody chest compressions and trying to bring them back to life. So she gets home. She's exhausted. She was like on her way home. I was on my way to Butler. And she says, when you get home tonight, wake me up. I need you to use the massager on my lower back. It's killing me. So I get home at midnight because the show started at 9:30. By the time you get into the show, sit down, the show finally starts closer to 10. Then it's over and it's an hour and a half show, give or take. And then you have to go out to the parking garage, sit in the parking garage because it's packed and you're waiting for it to empty out. Get home, 12 o'clock, come home. I got to get undressed, get ready to basically go right to bed. And I mean, that's where we demonize convenience. Unfortunately, I think realistically, food companies give us what we want, right? Food companies twofold. They give us what we want, but they give it to us at a price they want to give it to us. So they want to make sure that they're giving it to a price that we'll pay, and the price that they make the most profits. So again, like, we demonize convenience, we demonize highly processed, hyper palatable foods, But I mean, realistically, the way our society is structured and the way that our bank accounts are set up and the way that our jobs are and the way that the dynamics are these days, we don't have much of a choice. And how do we move forward? I don't even think I have an answer. I mean, we can provide suggestions, we can give helpful tips and tricks, but then again, we still got a huge amount of people who have never learned to cook because everything is plug and play, drive through, oven, box directions, add 6 cups of water, put the packet in, stir it, put it into a bowl, steam the broccoli, put the bag in the microwave, hit 2 minutes. I mean, that's still a good option. Steam broccoli in a bag, that's fine. Steam cauliflower in a bag, that's fine. But we demonize the very thing I think that we've asked for. Now, I'm not talking about specifically, but I think, the way that we eat molds to fit our society. And I mean, ever since we've been in the situation where everybody in the house has to work to be able to afford the average rent in this country right now is $2,000 a month. I mean, that's incredibly crazy. So how do we get the most people healthy and maintain some semblance of their convenience? Because if it's not convenient, if they can't just make it happen, how are they going to make it happen? We all know those people in our lives that just seem to always have it magically appear. Everything seems to be done. Their house is always clean. They've always meal prepped. They've got 5 kids and they're doing all the things and they're homeschooling them and they're doing it all. They have a full-time job. And yeah, that's not everybody. That's the exception, not the rule. So I don't know what the solution is, right? But we've realistically painted ourselves into a corner here. So hopefully as a community, we can start to put our collective knowledge of everything together and figure out how do you proper human diet on a standard American diet schedule. How do we do that? How can we do that? How do we make it as seamless and easy as possible and as healthy as possible? Because we're inundated with lean cuisines and we're inundated with all these things that say they're healthy and quinoa bowls and whatever those things, the Aussie bowls or whatever. I don't know what they are. There's a place up the street from us that's like a bowl place and they make you all these like fruit yogurt, like oatmeal bowls and stuff. And like, it's supposed to be the healthiest, but it's just not. That's the illusion. How do we make that illusion a reality? How do we turn healthy foods into something that's convenient for the masses? Because it's going to take that. And I mean, I've said this before. If everybody woke up tomorrow and wanted to be carnivore, they couldn't. Because the infrastructure isn't in place. Even though, a fun fact here, the way the earth is set up, if you remove the water, if you take the oceans out of it, 4% of the earth's surface that is land is suitable for agriculture. Only 4%. 4% is suitable for agriculture. So that's the growth of plants. Corn, soybeans, whatever needs to grow. 4% of the earth. But do we know what percentage of the earth, dry land surface, is suitable for ruminant animal? 24%. So while we are putting them in feedlots, while we're doing that, yes, it probably makes more sense. You don't have to, run the cattle and do all that. If you've watched Yellowstone, kind of like how that is a big to do. ranch hands and all that stuff. We just don't have that anymore. But 24% of the Earth's surface is suitable for ruminant animals to feed and graze. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answers to all of this, but these are questions we need to ask, problems we need to solve. Because if our actual goal is to help as many people as possible, these goals, these questions, these problems are going to need solutions. And I'm not the smartest person in the room. Amy, you are not wrong. My kids need to check my calendar before planning anything big. Like, I got stuff to do, okay? I got plans. Brian said I would absolutely tell him to change the date. But this is already like that. The venue is very hard to get into. So that's why they're doing it on a Thursday. Because a Thursday is like a third of the price. I mean, it's a gorgeous place. It's on a lake. It's beautiful. And it's weirdly placed. Like I had no idea it was there. It's down the street from our house. They're like, it's down the street from our house. And I'm like, what is it? Like an American Legion? What is this thing? And I had never even heard of it. And then we drove back there. I'm like, this is crazy. They've got cabins. Like they've got a male, like the groom cabin. It's like multi-bedroom with king-size beds and leather furniture and like a balcony that goes like a porch that goes out on the lake, and you can sit there, and like where the guys get ready, and then where the women get ready, they've got all like, all the vanities and all the stuff so women could put their faces on and they have room for all the dresses and all that stuff. They've got vans that move you through the property and stuff. It's pretty awesome, really. And for the price, it's not that bad. I mean, but then there's like the alcohol and the catering and all that stuff that all comes into play with a wedding, and the seating and so many people can come, and but it's a Thursday. But anyway, I digress. Me too, Sean. Glad that Ken is doing better and recovering. Still praying for both of you 100%. Biscuit says, food gives me life, but coffee gives me everything else. Food gives me life. Coffee gives me the will to live. Oh. Evelyn says, they just want you to know that they are the most important thing in your life, and you have to give up everything to be there for them. That is they do want me to give up everything. Like, I've been handling the auto claim that the same son was in an automobile accident a couple days before Christmas. He was okay, thankfully. Car had dents in the front fender, the doors, all that stuff. So that got taken to the shop. I had to handle the claim. I had to take the car to the shop, pick up the rental car, and then I'm the one checking on the shop. So I called the shop. They were supposed to be ready Friday. I called Friday. They were putting it back together. There was a hinge that was bent, so they had to get a new hinge, and they're putting that together. So sometime this week, that car will be finished, and then I can take the rental car back, give him his car back. We do what we do for our kids. And I want to make sure that I am doing enough for you, for them, for me, everything. And it's a wonder. It's a wonder that I'm able to get anything accomplished. And sometimes I feel like I'm not getting anything accomplished. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting nothing done that I want to do. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. Life is the way life is, right? Yeah, it's a 2-hour drive from here to Louisville. It's a longer drive to Elkhart. Elkhart's farther than Louisville is. To go to somewhere in my same state is farther than going to a different state. I can get to Illinois faster than Louisville, or I get to Illinois faster than I can Louisville, and I get to Ohio faster than I can Louisville. But I mean, I'm like an hour and a half from Illinois, an hour and a half basically from Ohio, 2 hours from Kentucky, and then 3 hours from Smoking Fatties. Got to go for a while to get caught up. All right, buddy. I'm glad to see you, Thomas. Cindy says he's very sore, and he didn't even tell me he fell until hours later. That was Wednesday. He was finally able to get, let's see, finally able to get to Friday due to all the ice. Oh, my goodness. You guys need to be careful. I'm going to come bubble wrap all y'all. You and Shauna and all of you are going to get bubble wrapped. Wendy's here. Good morning, Wendy. Anybody got a good deal on some bubble wrap? Reese's here. Good morning, Risa. So very glad to see you. Lisa says, can you pick me up on the way up there? I might be able to. We'll talk about it. We've got a minivan, and we might be able to pick you up. I just have to remove one of the child seats so you can sit in our in the middle seat in our van, and it reclines and all that stuff. It's heated seats, and you can take a nap all the way up there. But yeah, I've got to drive right through. Right, you're in Kokomo. I can drive right through there, I suppose. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. Just drop you off. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I got to get you my phone number somehow. Oh, she says you may not be able to go on a Monday. Well, find out and let me know what's going on if you can go. The exact date. And Amy said, is it a Monday this year? Yes, it's a Monday this year. Right, I got to see what date it is. Let me see. Bring up my calendar to see what's going on, because it's in the calendar. It is Monday the 2nd, March the 2nd. Monday, March the 2nd. Andy says, oh, he knew he screwed up, but he didn't want to tell you. No, the thing is you got to be able to tell. You got to tell your spouse everything that's going on. I'm hoping that you didn't sneak him too hard in the head. Oh, come on. Amy's asking about Stacy's asking Amy about her thyroid issues. Dr. Sivas caught it for me. My energy has returned, and I've dropped 11 pounds. That's what I'm trying to do for Chandra. Her thyroid issue. I know it's there, but she just won't listen to me. Ugh. Men's egos really it's not an ego thing, because it usually comes down to we don't want to tell you because you're going to bitch at us for it. It's a sanity thing. I don't want to get yelled at for me messing up. I don't want to fall and then get yelled at for it. That's what it is. It's not an ego thing. Birthday, March 2nd. Is that what you want to do for your birthday? You want to come hang out with us? We can sing you happy birthday in person. We can do it. We can make it happen with some smoking fatty sausage and some wings. Delicious. So glad. Chris is back. His sausage pizza base looked really good. I haven't watched that video yet. Probably watch that sometime today. But Andy will be there in Elkhart. Susan is taking the days off, so I won't be driving alone. Well, that's very, very good. Yeah, he didn't slip up. He wasn't afraid to tell me. He wasn't afraid to tell me. He just told me when it really started to hurt. Oh, yeah. JJ is back. Thanks for the warning, friend. I don't even know what my little widget here doesn't tell me what it feels like in Indianapolis right now or where I'm at. But yeah. But Stacy says it's 0 and it feels like -12. Ugh. JJ says it's 12 in the good old Louisiana. Down in the bayou, you're gonna freeze the old gumbo. You're gonna freeze your crawdads off, I guess. Karen's in the house. Good morning, Karen. Good to see you, dear. Woo! You can't hear me? Or no one else is saying anything? Everything is good? I imagine people would tell me and text me and let me know they can't hear me. Just checked the weather. -5, real feel outside. I'll take positive degrees at this point. You know what? I'm the only thing I worry about is our cat. I just put another heater out there for him because he can't be in the house because of the dogs. My goodness. But I worry about him because his water keeps freezing. I'm like, come on, cat. Let's go. JJ says, my non-keto brother-in-law keeps sharing cabbage recipes and really wants to go. But yeah, cabbage is delicious. Cabbage is just one of those things that sometimes you just want it. Risa says, Cindy, I had a real what the hell moment last night, and I'm in pain and in the same way Brian is, except I didn't break a rib. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Ugh. Rick says, no bacon there, hoping for iguana. It's a good thing you don't eat cats. Guinea pig has a broken rib. No, you better be taking care of him. You better be nice to him, Cindy. Better be taking care of him. I haven't seen. This week has been crazy. I haven't seen hardly anything. Risa says, yeah, how he did is beyond me. Banged a black donut tray right into my rib. Ugh, goodness gracious. I hope you feel better. Cindy says, we'll go over the whole story later today, live and more. Okay. All right. Oh. Wendy says, Rick, I bet that a good baking wrapping job would make iguana crispy as a duck. And for those of us who like it, that would salt it nicely too. Oh my goodness. Helen is here. Good morning, Helen. She said, just popping in to say hello. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, my dear. I hope you're doing well. I'm missing more of your videos. I try to watch them. I try to watch everybody's stuff. I just it's so much in so little time. Oh, Amy's got to run. Have a great day. Going to church. Be safe, dear. Please, please, please be safe. Yeah, Evelyn is asking how Helen is doing, that she hasn't seen her lives for a while. Yeah, I've been trying to keep track of Helen all the way over on the other side of the planet. See, I think here's another slice of the way that you live is so much different than everybody else, Rick, that it wouldn't be convenient for you. But for the average person who is stretched thin and working and doing all the things, it is convenient. It is easy to stop by a drive-through. It is easy to just pop something frozen into the oven, or mix up some, put macaroni and cheese on the boil or whatever. Those are little things that things that take 5-10 minutes versus you have to clean the iguana to eat it. You have to clean it and all the things, skin it, clean it, find it, catch it. Same thing with your ducks. A lot of people don't even have the understanding of how to do that, let alone the time or even the desire. So, Helen says, I'm just focusing on myself at the moment, not really doing content at the moment, but we'll probably do it again in a few months. Well, we're here for you. Hopefully you don't abandon us all. And, we want to keep tabs on you. We want to know how you're doing. We want you involved in this community. No matter what you do, no matter what you're eating, that's not the point. We are invested in you, Helen. And that's the same way for all of you. We're invested in Josephine and Sean and Rick and Evelyn. We're invested in you. We're invested because you're part of this group. You're a part of this community. Yeah, as long as you're okay, take a day at a time. Don't worry about content. We'll be here when you're ready. That's right. We are here for you, all of you. John Together Strong is here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. So very glad to see you. Evelyn says, the last 2 school years, I broke my fast on my afternoon break at 2 p.m. My lunch hour is crazy early, and not even the first lunch. Oh, my goodness. Having to have to eat on somebody else's schedule would drive me nuts. That's why I was always lucky with like the jobs I've had over the last years is I can eat when I wanted to. And then when I left the one company and I went to start working, I was able to work 7 to 3, or basically I had to be there I had to be there no later than 9 and have to be there until 3. So really, like if I wanted to leave at 3, I would get there at 7. And then there's only a couple of days a month where like you'd have to like volunteer to stay late or work until things were done, like end of month, because it was all about money. But I didn't have to take a lunch, and that was great. So that saved me an hour. This year, school starts an hour earlier, and I get home a half hour early, so I don't even eat at school working. Well, that's what I would do. I did that for so long because I was doing OMAD for a long time, and it was eat at work and have to take the time to meal prep and get things ready for lunches, take the lunch, remember to bring the stuff home, wash it, or just eat at home with the family. I was going to cook anyway, so might as well just do that and eat then. Well, I'm glad to see that you are so chipper there, but I mean, fingers crossed they don't. Fingers crossed. And it's not that, as far as weddings go, it's not that expensive. I've seen people spend $35, $45, $50,000 on a wedding. They're trying to do it under 10. So we'll see how that all goes. And Helen says carnivore isn't realistic long term. I think for a lot of people, it's not. Some people are going to find a way to make it work because that's who they are. Now, whether or not they truly find, because she says that there's, long term, there's end up with deficiencies. I don't really know if that's necessarily true. I think, you know, we've seen people like Sean Baker do it for 10 years already now. I don't know if he's seeing deficiencies, if he's adding things in to keep himself from having deficiencies. I mean, realistically, all of us are probably seeing deficiencies in some way, shape, or form. Like here, people in the Midwest, we have iodine deficiencies, so we need to take iodine. And I mean, most of us probably aren't getting enough vitamin D3. There's just a lot of things out there that we're not getting enough of. Most people are deficient in magnesium. So I think we need a well-rounded approach. It's like the more we learn, the less we figure. I don't know. It's just there's so much out there. I think that we really need to understand about nutrition, about ourselves, what really works best for us. So I think we get these ideas on what we should do, but in practice they don't work for us individually. So yes, are there people who are going to be carnivore long term? Absolutely. Are they going to see deficiencies? Maybe. I don't think there's any certainties in that, but I think for most people, true strict carnivore isn't sustainable. I know there's always going to be people here in the chats that are going to argue that, but I think for some it's very sustainable. But I think that's the exception and not the rule. But the average human, the average American, the average person on this planet, I don't think they're going to be carnivore. Even when we talk about like the Inuit were pure carnivore because they had to be. Where they lived, their environment. There was no plant food growing in the Arctic or wherever they were living. They were living on whale blubber and meat because they had to. Most of the time throughout human history, we ate primarily meat because we had to, because it was the most nutrient dense food we could find. And we followed that food. We were nomadic for a very long time and we followed it. And then we learned agriculture. Now, I am sure some agriculture and the way it used to be grown probably wasn't as bad for us. Monocropping and all the things that we do now and all of the chemicals that we spray on it can't be great for us. But I think blanket statements don't do us any good. Whether, I just don't think blanket statements at all are very good for us, because there's going to be people where carnivore is sustainable and they thrive on it, and there's going to be people out there who keto works. And there's just understanding who you are and what is truly best for us. And I think a lot of times the understanding of what I want to do versus what I should or need to do are going to be vastly different things. There's going to be a lot of people out there who want to be strict carnivore. They want to be like Dr. Baker. They want to be like Dr. Kilt. So they want to be like whoever they want to be like, because there is an element of if they can do it and I look up to them, I should be able to do it too. But that's not always the case. So there's what we want to do. Like, I want to eat ramen and cake every day. I want to eat corn dogs, but I know that's not what's best for me. But I want to go to Disney and eat Disney food all the time, but I know I can't afford that. It's not good for me, because what we want and what we need are two different things typically. So I think a lot of times we get caught up, and because, in going the wrong way and what we want to do isn't always is not always junk food, because we're going to have people who want to be strict lion diet. They've seen Michaela Peterson's success and Jordan Peterson's success with just eating meat, salt, and water. And that's what they want to do. They want to live that too. They want it, and they want it bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what they need to do. Doesn't mean that's what's best for them. So I think that's why looking at who we are is so very, very important. Understanding who we truly are, what's going to make our life consistent and be the most beneficial to us. I think that's very, very important. I'm trying to avoid the blanket statements, I just think, I think that's what we've got. We've got so much going on that, yeah. And I mean, should it be short term, like 90 days? I mean, that works. If that's something you want to do, I mean, you can look at Penn Jillette did that potato diet was just potato and water every day. Baked potato or boiled potato every day for, like, I think it was like a 2 or 3 week thing. No salt, no fat, nothing. Just, I mean, potato sounds great. French fries are delicious. That's not what he was doing. So I just think that we have to be open and honest with ourselves. So, I know a lot of people want to be strict carnivore. That doesn't mean it's what's best for them. It doesn't say that it's going to hurt them, but for longevity, for consistency, for all of the things that we talk about, that what we truly want out of our lifestyles, being realistic is part of it as well. Mr. Gugahan is off to church 20 minutes ago. I hope you have a safe time. And Helen says, what's suiting me is right now is meat with some rice and peppers and onions. That sounds great. As long as you eating and you feel okay and you're feeling satiated and you're not feeling crappy and, your numbers are good and you're happy with where you are, live that lifestyle. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with rice if your body can handle it. If you're severely diabetic, probably not good to eat rice. But again, you have to look at your individual circumstances. Josephine is off to bed. Well, dear, you have a great one. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again for the paintings. You are the best. I truly, truly appreciate everything you do for us. Have a great night, dear, and sleep well. And Helen says, when I've said carbs make me feel ill, I meant processed carbs like sweets and crisps and not natural carb foods. And I think that's true, because I don't really feel necessarily bad if I go and have sushi with rice. The rice doesn't bother me all that much. But if I have pizza and potato, like French fries, and then I feel like crap. But I typically don't feel bad if I have rice. Do I need to eat rice all the time? Absolutely not, because that's going to be a slippery slope, and I'm going to be making all the make bad choices. Then I have to look at what I can eat. Look at what I can eat, what I can do to make things best for me, to keep me from going off the rails. Wendy says, Dustin, I could get to Chicago faster than I could drive from Beaumont to El Paso. Yeah, Chicago's 3 hours. Where my sister-in-law lives up in Wisconsin is like 4.5 hours. Like Illinois border is like an hour and a half if I go out like to Terre Haute and across the border. And then like the Ohio border, an hour and a half. Michigan's like 3 hours. So yeah. Rick says, be careful of anyone with a van. Never trust no man in a van. That's true. Thomas says, I just had my first cup of coffee in 31 days. It tasted bad. I don't know. Like whenever I have coffee after a long time, I'm just like, oh, it's like a warm, delicious blanket. Rebecca is in the house from South Africa. Thank you for joining us. So glad you are here. I hope you're doing well. JJ said I've seen so many AI generated pictures of people using Cajun food for insulation from the cold. That's what I'm saying. Sounds delicious though. Rebecca said it's 30 degrees Celsius. So that's like summertime for us. That's 86 degrees. That's like summertime. But I would expect nothing less in South Africa, to be honest with you. And Wendy says, cabbage is the basis of kimchi. Yeah, just fermented cabbage. Biscuit is done with January challenges. Rick says, not everybody gets hungry riding bikes along the canal. That is true. I'm surprised you're not wrestling gators and eating them. If you saw one, would you eat it? Are you allowed to kill gators if you see them in Florida? Like if you see an alligator in a canal and you know how, and you just get down there and grab it up and take it home and fricassee it or cook it however you want to. I'm sure heart attack alligator tail would be delicious, right? Nobody breaking your ribs is very, very bad. Nobody do that. I don't any of that. And Biscuit says, as long as plants remain inflammatory in your body, they are, contraindicated for you. Do your =1, repeat as you heal, and if it works for your lifestyle, then congrats, you've cracked the code. That's the thing. I think the problem with vegetables in this country is the fact that they are covered in glyphosate. I imagine that plants in this country are so inflammatory because the way they're grown and the chemicals that get put on them. You can wash them, but that chemical's grown into that stuff. I think that's probably a big piece of the inflammatory markers that come out of vegetables. Because again, as long as we've been doing, as long as we've been growing crops to survive, we've eaten vegetables. But again, vegetables and the way we grow plants now is so different. We didn't used to grow 100 acres of the same thing in the same plot of land, and everything would be switched around. So I kind of think that there is probably more. Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. I think we just, the thing is and I don't even know really if this country, I don't even know these days if even organic is as safe as they say that it is. Because I think they can use they can use chemicals on organic food that they can't use on non-organic food. So I don't know. It seems to be kind of a weird system there. And Evelyn is waiting to break her fast at 10 a.m. with bone broth and keto brains at 11 a.m. Keto brains and coffee. Oh, so Helen says that Michaela isn't keto, or she's keto, not carnivore anymore. Well, that's good. I mean, but she was doing that just basically out of pure necessity. So that's something that I truly understand. If you are in a situation like Michaela was, where she was basically literally falling apart, she was a teenager and having ankles replaced because her bones were falling apart, her cartilage was falling out of her body. And, she was having all that issue that, of course, she went in and was doing meat, salt, and water. And it shows that that can heal, that you can heal your body doing that and then kind of go back into eating a semblance of a normal diet. Because I think that as much as she hurt if she strayed away from meat, salt, and water for a long time, that eventually that's just becomes taxing. Biscuit says, I want to not be an addict. I have no idea what that is like or even what path, what it's like to take like that. I'm always listening and learning, though. Yeah, that's the thing is we understand who we are. And I mean, there's things that I try to avoid to the best of my ability. There's things that I allow myself different times of the year. Like I know that during the summertime, I want to go, I want to go to the fair and I want to have some corn dogs. That's what I want. But I try not to have corn dogs any other time of the year. Am I successful? Most of the time. I think we just have to, we have to be realistic with who we are. And when he says that the stress of arguing with people, I don't argue with people anymore who want us to eat whatever they want to eat is not good for me. Yeah, I don't argue with people anymore when it comes to food. Even like on Facebook things, I put in my 2 cents and I just walk away. I'm not really there to argue. I'm like, well, this is kind of how my opinion is. And, this is my opinion. This is what I see as fact or whatever. And then you can discuss it amongst yourselves if you want to. But I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just want to make sure that I'm putting out information as I see it. Now I can change my information. If information changes, I can change my opinion. Like that's the thing is like the way I've eaten over the years has changed and shifted. I was net carbs and then I saw the benefits and, the understanding of why net carbs probably isn't the best and look at total carbs. And I still think a hybrid approach, like I think like, does total carbs on broccoli make sense or does net carbs on broccoli make sense? There's a lot about the broccoli that our body isn't going to break down. You're going to pass a bunch of that through. How much of that carbohydrates is in the broccoli you're going to pass through versus going to keep? I don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, and you're not wrong, Rick. Nobody wants to live like you. I mean, I wouldn't know how to live like you. I've never lived like you. Living like you would be extremely foreign to me. So it wouldn't be enjoyable. But how you live suits who you are and really encompasses who you are. That's what makes you a unique individual. That's what makes you who you are. So the idea that nobody wants to live like you, I mean, sure, because we're not you. And I see how you live and I see what you do and it works for you, but that's completely foreign to me and not how I want to do it. Would I do it in an absolute necessity? Yeah, sure. But I mean, again, that's not how, you live the way you live and it works for you. I'm not sure if you seem to be relatively content with how you live. And I think that's a huge win. Most people these days are not content, Biscuit says, Michaela landing on arugula in 2026 was not my bingo card. I don't know. I mean, people change. People shift. Did I think she was going to be meat, salt, water forever? Honestly, I never really put much thought into it. I knew why she was doing it. But I kind of in the back of my mind figured that if she was able to add other things in, she probably would. Because let's face it, meat, salt, water, while she probably felt amazing, gets flipping boring. And we are humans. And we like a little bit of diversity in our food. We like, if I mean, and Rick will argue with this, but cake is delicious and ice cream is delicious, and we like those things, and we want to feel the joy because food and treats bring us joy, because I think it's innately in our DNA that treats and the good foods bring us joy. We can deny our humanity all we want and say food is just fuel, not pleasure, not entertainment. But that's a lie. I mean, to me, that's a complete lie. It's a complete, I mean, is it, I shouldn't say a lie. It's misguided thought, because I think if we're looking at things like that, then we're taking away how, how our ancestors lived. Our ancestors celebrated food. Food is life. They celebrated kills. They celebrated harvests. They did these things because food meant life. It meant they got to live another day. So with that came joy. Now, I mean, the same thing now, like you go and you take your kid out to ice cream and they love it and you have a good time because they have a giant smile on their face and you have a bonding moment and you're there with them in the ice cream parlor and you're talking about their day and they're telling you about their teacher or their kid in school or whatever. And they're having fun. And they're talking about their favorite Ninja Turtle or whatever. They're having a great time. Should that be every week or every month? No. But again, that's where I think we can't oversimplify. We can't blanket statement any of this, because when we do that, I think it does more damage than we like to realize. The blanket statements we make often are so hurtful. I think blanket statements that we make in our lives about things, about our feelings, about how we see the world, do a lot of damage. I think we need to be more thoughtful with the words and our language and how we represent things, because there is so much diversity. There is so much, no matter how much we humans are the same, we're all different, but inherently we're the same, because there's no way really that you're going to find another human being that you have zero in common with. You may not be able to understand their language, but I imagine their significant other have the same disputes, the same problems or similar problems. They find similar things funny that you find funny. Now, depending on culture, there might be things that don't translate. But at the end of the day, we're all human and we're all pretty much the same, even if we are drastically different. And I think we forget that. So while, some people eat keto, some people eat carnivore, lots and lots of people eat the standard American diet. And then you get into everything else that makes us different. Our cultures are different, our religions are different, our identities are different, all the things that make us who we are. But at the end of the day, I still think we are more the same than we are not. The minutia might be different, but the generalized piece of us are the same. We all want happiness, health, stability, safety. We want freedom. We want love, affection, a community that understands us, that stands by us. Those are things we want. Want to go to the grocery store and buy food that's not really trying to, like, we want food manufacturers who have our best interest actually at heart and not profits. We want to make sure that we're buying foods that are safe for us. But I don't know. So much. Sherry says, good morning, all. Super late joining today. That's okay. That's fine. That's okay. And Helen says, I feel like crap if I eat too much sweets. Yes, of course, I do too. But the problem is with sweets, sometimes I want a lot of it and I want to eat it until I can't eat anymore. And then I feel like trash. I usually sleep poorly, and then I feel bad the next day. And then if I feel bad the next day, then sometimes I'm like, you know what? I feel bad, so I'm going to eat more. That's where the vicious cycle, I think, comes in. But I understand completely. And Patricia Hoffman is here. Good morning, Patricia. Very glad to see you this morning. Michaela Peterson's newest, I think her last name is different, but Peterson's what I know. I can't remember what her last name is, but if I say Michaela Peterson, you all know who I'm talking about. So anyway, Michaela Peterson's newest video is about her adding foods back in after 8 years on the Lion diet. Used it for healing. Of course, diets doesn't have to be forever. And I figured really in the back of my mind that it probably wouldn't be forever. Because again, we understand she did what she had to do to survive. Lion diet healed her. Now we'll see how moving forward, how she adds things in, how that works. And I'm sure she's making content to her newest video. I haven't watched her videos in a while. Again, I barely have time to keep up with the people that I care about in this community, let alone adding somebody that I don't even know. So I try. I do my best. Yeah, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. JJ says, yeah, I feel you. It's a constant struggle. And I mean, really, for me, it is hard to imagine what it's like to not struggle. And I had that for a little while when I had full control over whatever came in the house. Did I still struggle outside of the house? Some. But I mean, I struggle now. It's still not as bad as it was before. I actually know what I need to do now, and I know what makes me feel better. So the internal struggle is different now. I bargain with myself more now. Well, I'll do this today, then I'll be doing that tomorrow. And I need to not let that slide into something else. Again, honesty, being honest with yourself is paramount. It's imperative to this. And Risa says that her issue with carbs, processed carbs, is that if I have some in the morning instead of protein fat, and I want way more later in the day, I get obsessed with eating more. That's the thing, is like you could sit down with like what is like let me look at Walmart here. I'm gonna look at something. I want to look at something here. I want to see. So let me look at this. A party size of Doritos is 14 and a half ounces. So not even a pound. And it's right now online, like sponsored. It's a rollback for $5. Okay. I say this because I just want to talk about like something like Doritos, potato chips, Doritos, because those are the kinds of foods that I can eat a pound of hamburger, a pound of hot dogs, a pound of chicken with plenty of fat, and I'm going to be fine. There's a stopping point. There's a point where I'm like, okay, I'm good. But a bag of Doritos, I could probably sit down and watch TV and eat that entire bag, 14 and a half ounces of Doritos. Now, if I don't get tired of eating the Doritos first, there's no stopping point. There's no, oh, I'm done. I'm okay. I don't need any more with Doritos. There's one or two things. I run out of Doritos, or I just get tired of eating the Doritos. And that's the difference between being done with the Doritos and being tired of eating the Doritos. To me is a wholly different thing. Like, I'm not full. I'm just like, okay, like I'm just done for now. Does that make sense? I don't know. I hope it does. That's how I look at it, like a bag of Lay's potato chips or Tostitos. Like I could sit down and eat an entire 17-ounce party-sized bag of Tostitos with salsa and queso and all that stuff and probably never get full. So, I think that's how I look at that. I don't know, maybe you guys have a different perspective, and that's why we're here to share those perspectives. And Reese is 100%. Coffee first thing in the morning is like a warm hug when you wake up. I mean, that's really why I started this live stream, because I would Sunday morning sit and just stare at YouTube and drink my coffee. And now I have you guys to hang out with, because I decided that instead of watching YouTube, I would be on YouTube. And Biscuit says, I'm not really phased by anybody adding carbs back in, but arugula, it's safe to say that for me, it won't happen. Kale and tofu not coming back into my life. I think people gravitate. It's like people who love salads. The idea of salads make no sense to me. Like, the stuff people put in salads makes sense. Cheese, like crunchy stuff like croutons and all that stuff. And then you douse it with salad dressing, tastes good. Yeah, I understand that. But like, really, that's like why I don't understand when people start to lose weight, or they go into this idea of losing weight, they go in and they're like, they find the lowest calorie foods they can find and eat the most of it. So like like let's see. Think about this. Think about, you want 500, say you want to eat a 500 calorie meal. How can you eat a 500 calorie meal, get stuff beyond stuffed, but like only have 500 calories? That's why, to me, calories are weird. So, like, say you take broccoli, raw broccoli, 500 calories is like 3 pounds of broccoli. 3 pounds of broccoli raw. So if you cook it, it's going to cook down some. So 500, like, say you don't add in any fats, which I don't understand how you would do that, but like 500 calories of steamed broccoli is like 3 pounds of broccoli. So you can eat in a day 9 pounds of broccoli and be 1,500 calories. Are you going to hate your life? Are you going to be under nutritioned? Yes. That's why I don't understand the idea of, I need to eat a lot of food. I'm going to just push as much low calorie food into my body as I can, get full, and hopefully that works. Same thing with rice. Like, how much rice? How much is 500 calories of rice? 2.5 cups. So 380 to 400 grams of cooked white rice. The exact amount varies slightly by rice type, water, 100 grams of raw white rice is about 360 calories. So 500 calories would be around 140 grams of uncooked rice. So you turn 140 grams of cooked rice, add water, steam it, do whatever you do with rice, and then you've got that much rice for 500 calories. So that's why, like, things that are like the let's see. Like I'll look up bulk foods here that are low calorie. So leafy greens, spinach, kale, romaine, arugula, cruciferous veggies, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, high water content, cucumbers, celery, zucchini, tomatoes, bell peppers, watermelon, berries, like the low calories. And it doesn't tell me what the calorie contents are, but like meal building tips. Start with veggies. Use large salad or broth based soups for a base to fill you up first. Like, that doesn't, like, I understand the thought behind it. Just like there was a product, I think, in the 80s and the 90s, there was a pill you would take, and it was like, it would expand in your stomach to make you feel full. I don't know what it was called. Let's see. So let's see. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was called Plenty, but I don't know. Like, let's see, in the 80s. Let's see. In the mid 80s, a diet pill made of compressed cellulose and gelatin was developed that expanded to 30 times its size in the stomach to create a feeling of fullness. The pill acted as a heavy dumpling to curb appetite, often featuring special cellulose crystals developed by Dr. O.A. Batista to aid in weight loss. 80s context are a lot of broader terms of dietary fiber, bulking aids. So yeah, there's just a lot of weird stuff from the 80s and stuff like that to think about. So that's why, like, the idea of that stuff is like so weird to me, right? Yeah, and Helen's 100% right here. So like following a super strict diet that's stricter than you can maintain is probably will lead to binging. If you can find the happy medium, right? If you can, find what makes you happy or what makes you content, makes you feel satiated. But I mean, realistically, that's why, like, I understand that eventually I'm going to have corn dogs or pizza and things like that. Because knowing that I can have it sometimes is going to keep me from wanting to have it all the time. I do try to do that, right? Let's see. So this is a question that I'd ask Rick. He says, not officially allowed to hunt gators without a permit, but they do get eaten illegally. Gator meat is high in mercury, though. Huh. I love a baked carrot every once in a while. Good crispy bacon bacon. Carrot is pretty delicious. It's good. Every once in a while, I think it's fine. I don't think there's a problem with it. Yeah, Biscuit, that's what I'm saying. Even organics use pesticides. So inflammatory, still inflammatory. So I think if you could have completely homegrown vegetables with no pesticides, you're probably going to be a lot better off. It's probably a lot less inflammatory. I think really the pesticides, the herbicides, all the things that make them grow bigger and stronger make them the worst for us. Yeah, I'm sure that as we've grown up, vegetables have changed, meat's changed, there's antibiotics and everything. They say antibiotic free, all that stuff. I don't know if I necessarily truly believe it. And Evelyn is right here. Can we understand how awesome it is that meat, salt, and water healed her? 100%. And that's why I said, when she was first coming out and talking about this, it was a fantastic story. But I guess I always kind of thought eventually she would probably be able to kind of add things back in, but be mindful of what truly caused all the inflammation in the first place. So I don't know. And Helen says, I only become obsessed with food when I quit smoking over 10 plus years ago. I gained a lot of weight when I quit smoking. I think that's kind of a natural thing. It kind of just happens. I always managed to keep my weight off as I worked out a lot, but when I put lots of weight on, I stopped moving a lot. Yeah, the bigger we are, the harder it is for us to get up and move. We don't want to get up and move, but it's when you are somebody small and fit, you're excited, you feel good, so you're more willing to go move and get all that stuff. Karen is in the house. Good morning. A wee bit late. That's okay. Considering we're 2 hours in, that's okay. Yeah, individuals get addicted to alcohol, nicotine, food. They get addicted to all kinds of things. It's terrible. And this is true. Transfer addiction is a real thing. I did the same. I did that. I went from, I was never a huge coffee drinker in my youth. And maybe not a lot of youths are. into coffee. I would drink my coffee and it was like what you would consider kitty coffee. And really you would drink it because it was like $1 and you could drink it all night. You go to like Denny's and just drink coffee all night, but then you realize, you know what, I could drink this tea too, or I could drink this raspberry sweet tea and be drinking it all night too. But when I quit smoking, I mean, kind of the habit of getting out of the office was a big piece for me because I was getting out of the office to go smoke, get away from my desk. And when I quit smoking, I had no real reason to do that anymore. So I started going on walks to get coffee because there was a coffee shop. There was a 3-building complex where I worked. There were 3 buildings right there. So I was in one building. There was a building in the middle. And then on the other side was another building. And in the first floor of that building, there was a coffee shop. So we would go over there and get coffee. Coffee was like $2.50, $2 and whatever, somewhere, say $2.50. So realistically, I was spending more on coffee at that point than I was on cigarettes because I was smoking about a pack every 2 to 3 days, and a pack of cigarettes was about $5. So realistically, I was drinking it $2.50 every day, 5 days a week. So really, I was probably spending about the same in coffee as I was in cigarettes and around it, but I was better off for it. But again, yeah, addiction transfer is a real thing. And processed foods really are the problem because, I mean, like Kraft mac and cheese, ramen noodles, all these things that I crave. I crave those things. I think about those. I love those things, but they are the problem. And Rick is one of the favorite people that I find cake and ice cream disgusting. Well, you are in a very, very small minority of people. There are people out there who probably will think, oh, that's gross and I'm not going to eat it. But that's not necessarily how they feel. I love good food and I love, do I care about cake all that much? Not really. Do I think it's not cake that I think about? It's not cookies all the time. Sometimes a good cookie sounds good, but I do like ice cream. Like I love Cold Stone. Have you ever been to Cold Stone Creamery? They've got a gotta have it size, and that's what I get because if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna get a gotta have it. That's my brain. Like if I'm gonna get a pizza, I'm gonna get a large pizza. If I'm gonna get a steak, I'm gonna get the 18-ounce steak. I don't know. I love good food. I mean, cake is good, but I like the icing. The icing is the part that I like the best. The cake is just the vehicle for the icing. Give me the icing. And I mean, and to some degree here, the volume of any food consumed is an issue. So I think volume of food that doesn't lead to actual satiety is an issue. That's where I'm talking about like the eating like if you want to 2,000 calories of broccoli a day is not it's not gonna bring satiety. You're gonna get full, you're not gonna eat anymore, but you're not finding satiety. Your body is not getting what it needs. So I think if you're somebody who eats 2 pounds of macaroni and cheese a day, or 2 pounds of whatever it is you're eating a day, or 2 pounds of hamburger, that 2 pounds of hamburger is going to make you feel full for the whole day. I don't know. I think just the idea of just volume food without satiety is the issue. I think feeling just eating until you're completely stuffed is a problem. And Biscuit says food was beyond entertainment for me for as long as I can remember. It was never a healthy relationship or about anything other than chasing dopamine and that moving bar of dopamine resistance. Yeah, I mean that's a thing. Like that's like the thing. Like when you do finally get the thing that you want, the first few bites are what you truly taste. But then for me, like the texture, if there's a texture or a food has a texture that I really enjoy, like a good ice cream has a texture, like macaroni and cheese has a good texture. Textures that I like that feel comforting to me, potato chips, things that have a good texture, then you want to eat and eat and eat them. But if you can find the foods that you can eat but bring you satiety, I think satiety is one of the biggest missing pieces. And that's why I put that video out this week is satiety is a big missing piece. you know? And it's true. Mental health plays a huge role. I think it's a never-ending circle with food. Like if you eat the wrong foods, it can hurt your mental health. When your mental health isn't great, it's going to drive you to eat more of the foods that you don't want, that you shouldn't eat. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. And I think we often, and I've had people like completely just try to shut me down with the idea that the foods we eat has zero impact on our mental health. But I don't think that that's the case. I think if you understand that your mind is inside the brain, the way the mind functions has everything to do with how healthy your brain is. And how healthy your brain is in direct correlation to how healthy your body is. Then what we eat, how we exercise, how we move, how we live, how we breathe has everything to do with our mental health. And I think we've kind of gotten into a sad state of affairs where the idea if you work out and you go to the gym, it's all for vanity. It has nothing to do with vanity. It has everything to do with, I think, lowering anxiety. If you can go to the gym and you can lower anxiety, I know people have anxiety about the gym, but if you can get in there and just make it happen, then you're going to be better off. Or just work out at home. Start doing push-ups, calisthenics. Go to Goodwill and see if you can find a used treadmill, whatever. And Stacy's right here. She's asked myself if the tempting stuff makes me feel, if is taste as good as healthy feels. Now, I think that this is one of those things where once you've kind of gotten yourself on a healthy track, then you have to understand then, is this one meal that I want to have or this one thing that I want to eat, is that going to completely derail my health? Most likely not. But again, that's where the self-understanding comes from. Because if you can, and I hate to use the word moderate, but if you can have, like a celebratory meal or some ice cream once a month or whatever it is you like, I don't think that's going to necessarily have much in the way of, negative impact on your overall health. But again, it's a case by case basis. It's an N equals 1. It is a thing you have to come to terms with on your own. Are you capable of just doing that? But I don't think realistically in the grand scheme of our bodies, we didn't get fat because of one meal. We didn't become unhealthy because of one meal, and we're not going to get healthy because of one meal. It's going to take time and consistency to maintain and get that health that we are so looking for. So I think while we have to understand that sometimes the tempting stuff is not going to do us any benefits in the long term, is denying ourselves all of it going to cause a detriment to us? So I think these are questions that we have to ask. And the answer is going to be different for each and every one of us. Doritos bypass and shut down the leptin signaling. Yeah. The thing is that you can just eat and eat and eat and eat. And the things like you can get a big old salad, giant salad bowl, just eat and eat and eat and eat. That's how I used to do it. I'd fill it full of sunflower seeds and croutons and cheese and bacon bits, and just fill it full of like almond slivers and all the crunchy stuff, and just really like the last few bites of the salad where it's just all the stuff and like the leaves are gone, like the salad is gone, like the lettuce is gone or whatever, the little carrot slivers are gone. That was like the best part. So realistically, you could probably take like cheese and you could probably make yourself what would be a salad, some almond slivers, some sunflower seeds, cheese, bacon bits, mix a little bit of actual good olive oil, like legitimate olive oil dressing in there, mix it up and eat that without the lettuce and probably be way better off. I don't know. These are just things, Cucumber is low in calorie, but awful for you. I mean, I don't know. I don't ever eat enough cucumber for it to be a problem. Like for me, like you're going to have cucumber. I'm going to have maybe a couple of slices. The same thing with any kind of vegetable like that, raw vegetable. But I like pickles. Pickles are delicious. Cindy says, oh no, Brian has to limit his broccoli. Yeah, I mean, I think pickles are okay. I think pickles are fine. I think it depends on how they are for you because pickles are brined. So I mean, I imagine they're okay. I mean, everything in excess is probably going to be a detriment to us. If you eat 10 pounds of steak a day, probably not good for you. You drink 10 gallons of water, not good for you. You know what I mean? I think we have to really look at that as well. And Carl says, I have to eat meat and fat for satiety. The other food noise is so loud that I start chasing the dopamine. That the sweet thing, my best easy meal is ground beef and eggs to keep the noise down. Yeah, 100%. What, like for me, eggs and hamburger, hot dogs, eggs, hot dogs, whatever keeps the noise down. And Biscuit says, when your body processes 500 calories of broccoli and realizes it's been hoodwinked on nutrition, whatever satiety fiber provided will be short lived. Yeah. I mean, you're going to poop it all out and then you're going to be hungry again. And JJ said, a vegan once told me tofu taste is all about how you prepare it. I'm with Bride's Biscuit. It ain't happened. Tofu is fine. Like, I've never had an issue with tofu. You can fry it up. You can put some teriyaki on it. It tastes okay. Sometimes the texture leaves a little bit to be desired. I never had a problem with tofu. I always had a problem with them being like, tofu's the meat you should eat. No. Mm-mm. Steak is delicious. Steak is for me. But I never had a true problem with tofu in of itself. John says, I have resoluted that red meat, fish, butter, eggs will be my drug of choice for the rest of my life. It keeps it simple anyways. Well, 100%. And I wish you the best of luck with that, my friend. I hope that that is something that is sustainable for you, brings you the joy you deserve, and works and keeps things uncomplicated. That is amazing. And I hope that works for you. I truly do. And Lisa says, I'm back while I wait till it's time to head out to church. What did I miss? You know, I mean, you're just going to have to watch the replay, okay? I don't even know what you missed. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm just a guy. JJ says, gator meat is good. There's an alligator park near where I live and they sell it. Oh, yeah. Just delicious. Eating too many carrots doesn't make me want to eat a donut. Doesn't trigger me even though they are high in natural sugars. I have some, yeah, I mean, that's my way to look at it is like, I'm never going to eat that many carrots. I'm never going to eat like a pound of carrots. If I put carrots in food, it's usually just to add a little bit of flavor, a little different texture. But I mean, but realistically, carrots is not what made me fat. Tomorrow is Groundhog's Day. We're gonna ask that groundhog to give us a prediction. It has no idea what's going on. Sharon H is here, but also just got up. It's 9 a.m. Go me. I love it. I'm glad you're here, Sharon. How are you feeling, dear? She's asking how Brian's doing. And Stacy says, we only try to eat fruits, veggies we grow from seed with no chemicals. I eat very few. Ken is able to eat more veggies than me. You need to learn your own body. Therefore, I do Stacy Keto 1,000%. 1,000%. I love what comes out of your garden. I love the onions, the garlic. I love that seasoning spice that you make. I dream about it. I love it. I miss your eggs. Oh my goodness. I'll have to buy some eggs from you in March. So if you have any, we'll figure it out. Well, I'll get however many dozen I can fit in my fridge. But we'll talk about it before then. I'll text you. And Biscuit says, berries, although lowest sugar fruit, caused me to overconsume. And I think that's by design. I don't think that that's happenstance. I think that's by design. Because when you found berries in nature, it was the end of summer, going into fall, winter is when those berries are low. Usually the low sugar berries are in season, and you're going to just cram yourself full of them until you're happy. So you're just, I think that's by design, to be honest with you. Yeah, and I mean, this is true. I mean, food is memory. Like, I think about my great grandmother. She used to do potatoes and snap green beans, and she would snap herself and cook them in a pressure cooker long before an instant pot. And she knew how to use that thing and not blow up her kitchen. But I mean, these things that remind us of memories we had with our grandparents that are gone, and that's a real thing. My great grandmother used to make me fried potatoes and onions, and she used to make me mush, and she'd make me all these things. My great grandmother would cook me things. She'd make me homemade hush puppies. There's things about our family that we remember, and the one thing that we have from them still are our memories and the foods they made for us. Those are the things that live on. That's how you remember family. And I know that that could be triggering for some people, but I mean, those memories are real. And that love you had for your family that's gone. My great grandmother's been gone since 2000. My grandmother died in 2022. I mean, it's just crazy. It's like as soon as they're gone, the time sucks away, and you just miss them more. Like my mom's birthday was this week, and she would have been 71. She died when she was 59, and she would have been 71 years old. Crazy. Sharon says, it's a PETA for me. I do my best with pre-planning and tracking. I'm a clean plate club person. Yeah, that's the thing is like, got to eat all that. Because I mean, I grew up poor, so you ate everything you go out put on your plate because that's all there was. So you ate everything that you had. So if I measure out and then eat, I'm fine. But if not, I clean overeat keto foods. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like we can overeat foods because again, if we're eating foods that don't bring us satiety, like a Quest bar is not going to bring me satiety. 2 Quest bars is not going to bring me satiety. Now there are people like I can have a Quest bar and I feel full. That's not me. I can eat like the Quest Zero bars or what are the Hero bars they were called. I think they were just big candy bars, but they didn't bring me satiety. The regular Quest bars, I would just not eat them very much because I didn't like them. They were okay. They were a means to an end. But if you're eating a food that doesn't bring you satiety, you can always overconsume it. But try to eat more than a pound or 2 a steak in a sitting, unless you're Sean Baker and you're eating 3 or 4 pounds. But try to eat, 4 ribeyes and see what you do. But then eat 3 bowls of macaroni and cheese and you're probably okay. And Lisa says, lately, I have had my fair share of mental health, and I'm working on focusing on me. The stress road is not over, but I'm just learning to get through it. Yeah, and lean on us. That's what we're here for. Come and talk about it. I don't know what we can do, but we're here. And Biscuit says, I remember my grandmother giving me coffee and cake when I was 7 or 8. I used to spend a lot of time with my great-grandparents. I would be over there on the weekends, Friday into Saturday. I would usually go home Saturday night because they would get up and they would go to they would get up and do stuff on Sundays that I didn't do. But because I went to a different church and they did a different church than I did. So I would go to a different church than them, but when I was little. Because they were Jehovah's Witnesses and I went to a Baptist church. So I would usually didn't stay the night over there on Saturday nights, but Friday nights and into Saturday I would stay with them. But yeah, I mean, I would get up on Saturday morning and make my own breakfast, and I would watch my cartoons and watch, Saturday morning stuff like Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse and all that stuff. All the stuff. I would do all the things, a pup named Scooby-Doo. I would do all those things. And Cindy says, I hope I can make it today. We have some things to get in town. Not sure when we are going out. Hugs to Brian. Yeah, people were asking, how is cucumber bad for you? I'm not quite sure how I understand that. Let's see. And Stacy says, one meal with too many vegetables, especially greens, they get bloated. I look pregnant. I can't even remove rings, and my joint pain returns after 5 years of getting healthy. Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, but I mean, is that the veggies that you grew out of your garden? Or is that like veggies from the store? Or both? And Biscuit says cucumbers have high levels of lectins, phthalates, tannins, and so if you're not sensitive, then they're not a problem. I mean, yeah. I don't know. They just don't. They're just not. I mean, they're okay, but like, there's just not. There's just. It's just like, it's like water. Like you're eating stored water. Biscuits is a perfectly prepared plate of tofu. I don't know. I mean, sometimes tofu and food is fine. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. It doesn't taste like a sponge to me, but I don't know. And Stacy says cucumbers growing in our garden is one thing I can't eat as I work with no problems. Great hydration too. Yeah, I just need to salt out just the salt. Yeah. And Lisa says I've cut way back on veggies. And make my meals most of the time really simple with just eggs, bacon, sardines. I've been trying to make some nice meals for my son and I on the weekends. Yeah, delicious. Roasted carrots are so good. She says roasted carrots is lush, but I have to put honey on it too. I see. I grew up and my mom would put like sugar or brown sugar in the carrots we'd eat. Real sweet carrots. Now I'm okay with savory carrots. Like I don't mind carrots with like French onion dip and stuff. That's fine. I can eat those. That's good for me. It gives me the crunch and the dip flavor. Sometimes I find carrots a little too sweet though, but that's okay. And Sharon says, doing great. Steph and I met with a personal trainer on Friday and he is setting up a workout plan for us. Perfect. And Helen says cavemen and women didn't eat just meat and actually rarely got meat. And so, well, I think as hunting evolved, they got more meat as they become more proficient with hunting. And I think that's kind of what the cave painting show. And I mean, again, we're guessing here. I mean, this is really just guessing, but I think that meat was the goal. And like I said, you never see cave paintings of plants. I mean, maybe, but I don't think. But I mean, I think meat was the goal. But how many cavemen did it take down a mastodon? I don't know. Because remember, mastodons were still around when mammoths or mastodons were still around when the Great Pyramids were being built. So that's a thing to think about. We will eat strawberries in the spring, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries in late summer, all from our garden. I made crisp cooking Nashville jam from berries, and Ken loves it. That sounds delicious. Sherry is in the house. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Sherry. So glad to see you. I was glad that you were in our live yesterday. We're asking all the questions. I love that. Thank you. And Helen says I use smaller plates now too, and I'm doing portion control. I use like paper bowls. A lot of times I use paper, and they're smaller. One, I don't want to do all the dishes. And I know it's probably not as good for the environment, but like, I'm tired of doing all the dishes. Let's see. People are saying hello. And Helen says, I was closer to my grandparents than my parents. My parents are alive. They're in their 70s, but I never hear from them. It's a difficult situation. My dad is a narcissist. I mean, my dad is my dad. I guess my dad's I don't know. He's not really involved in my life. He's tried over the years, but it always fails. And my mom's gone. My grandma's gone. So like my great grandparents have been gone. My great grandmother died in 2000. Great grandfather lived until 2005. But by the time my great grandmother passed away, he was already in a nursing home with dementia. So he was basically gone. I mean, he was there, but just in body, really. But I mean, Shander's family is now basically the entirety of my family. But I have an aunt and uncle. I don't really talk or hear from them very much. Cousins are not really in contact with me very much. Some of them live far away. Some of them live in town. I still don't hear from them. I know it's a two-way street, but I was like, if you feel like they don't really want to be around you, then they would contact you, or they want to be around you, they'd contact you kind of thing. But, because whenever they're around, I want to be there. But I mean, outside of that, it is what it is. But, and Helen says, I think it's the chemicals that get sprayed on that gives inflammation for people who need to listen to signs your body is giving you. Yeah, I think that's the mistake that we make, with a lot of the grains and stuff that we have issue with, like huge, like I want to say like it's all the stuff that really is sprayed on the food that causes most of the gluten intolerance. Because I think I've heard, now this is just hearsay, but I think people who say they have gluten intolerance to bread in the United States don't have the same issues over in Europe. So I'm very curious to know if that's necessarily true or not. Yeah, and tofu is not good for men's hormones or anything. You know, I mean, soy base is not great for us. But I've never really been a soy person that ate enough. I mean, to my knowledge, I'm sure there's been things that I've eaten over time that have soy in it that I'm not aware of. Like there was a time where I was drinking soy milk, but not enough to would really make a difference. But I mean, I was never a huge tofu person, but I've never been like, oh, I never really cared much. I'm not going to eat tofurkey or anything like that. I just eat the meat. And Risa says I was a vegetarian during college and since, and I can't eat tofu, ate too much of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure that the starvation rate was probably ridiculous. They ate what they could find, they killed what they could kill, and they starved or fasted a bunch too. So, I mean, I'm sure it was just a nightmare mess. Oh, I have some electrolytes today too. I have some salty grape here. Grape salty, my favorite salty. And my Batman cup. Can you see the Batman in it? Where's that? Yeah, the Batman cup. Yeah. Karen says, I used to eat carrots daily. I noticed I started to crave candy bars. I don't eat carrots, plus my digestion doesn't like them. Yeah. I mean, again, that's one of the things you start doing the things and you just love it. You know what I mean? Biscuit says cave paintings of fruit and vegetables were made by hunters who couldn't shoot straight. I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, the idea that we came up with bows and arrows and all the sticks and spears and yeah. Sharon says highest carb fruit I grow as a cantaloupe for hubs. I will have a bit now and then. Cantaloupe, I have a few bites every once in a while because I mean, that was one thing I used to eat with my great grandmother. She used to love salted cantaloupe. This stuff was delicious. I'm not even gonna lie. This stuff was so good. You know, Cass is here. Good morning, Cass. Glad to see you, my dear. How are you? And Sherry says, I really enjoyed the live yesterday talking with Red Shirt. He was talking my language, which is, as you know, vegetables and natural standard American diet more than just meat, eggs, and salt. Yeah. And I think it's going to take a lot of conversations like that to really make a difference. And I think we can't be afraid of those conversations. And I'm not going to shy away from those because I think those are all valid and very important. And if you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to the talk that I had with Red Shirt yesterday. He went through a lot, and I think it's amazing, like what he went through. So listen to that. Let me know what you think. Just comment on it. We'll talk about it. I'm thinking maybe bringing him back. I like talking with him. And now that we're really not like, I mean, the idea of Keto Crusade is on the back burner until Chris is freed up and Victor's freed up. I don't know what's going on with that. We haven't even talked about it in a while. But I was thinking about maybe having big topics with Red Shirt and maybe doing a monthly live on a Saturday about, you know, just big topics that aren't things that we talk about on a normal basis and see how that goes. See what you like. Oh, let's see. Lisa's never had tofu. Let's see what we see here. Cass says, I was watching a video about how we have the stomach acid of vultures because we ate a lot of leftover rotten meat, maggots, and bones. Did we, though? I mean, I'm sure we did at some point, especially early in our evolution before we were really able to figure out hunting. We would probably eat what was left over from animals who could hunt. So, I mean, I imagine we developed over time. You know, I mean, it's kind of weird that we have the stomach acid that we do. We have the acid in our stomach that we do, but yet we're so much more vulnerable now to foodborne illnesses than I think we probably ever were. Or and maybe I'm just making that up. I don't really know. And everyone's saying hello to everybody. Let's see. Yeah. Cassandra Ria says, I already like the taste of unsweetened soy milk, and there are a lot of variety of soy products. I enjoyed the taste of it prepared right. I think it's like that's what I was like. Well, the soy milk with the estrogen issues and stuff like that. Then I was like, well, I'll drink almond milk, but almond milk didn't have the right texture, so I would try cashew milk, and then it didn't have the right texture. So sometimes I'll get Fairlife and just suck up the extra carbs. But there we go. Vulture stomach acid slightly lower than ours. Weird, or higher. Yeah, I'm sure they are now. And I'm sure that our stomach acid probably has fluctuated over the centuries with what we have to eat, what we're eating, and all those things. But I'm at the end here of the chat. We're 2.5 hours in, and I want to just go ahead and just kind of make sure there's nothing that I'm out here. Let's see. And I was looking at some news articles here. Continued reports showing ultra-processed food remains cheaper per calorie than whole food. But again, if you're looking at calorie and you're looking at, we start looking at how do we measure satiety. Ongoing increases in prescriptions for metabolic conditions, rising healthcare costs tied to diet-related illnesses, food manufacturers reformulating products to remain affordable rather than healthier. Oh, system rewards convenience and shelf life, not health. And I mean, realistically, with 8 billion people to feed, it stands to reason that convenience and shelf life is important. But also, if we understand the way that our grocery stores are set up, people who work at grocery stores, is if everybody comes in, like if there's a run of the grocery store before like a big a snowstorm, if everybody goes to the grocery store the same day, the grocery store can't handle it. The grocery store is set up for a certain number of people to be there over the course of about 7 days. So they're restocking and they're looking at a week to week basis. And so if everybody makes a run on a grocery store in one day, they're completely gutted because they're not set up for everybody to go every day. So that's, but at the same time, what disappears? Does all the shelf stable food disappear? Or are people buying meat, eggs, and perishables? Most people aren't buying up all of the shelf stable stuff. So that tells you something too. But anyway, if you take nothing else from today, take this. You don't need to start perfectly. And again, we talk about this all the time. You need to start honestly. And honesty to yourself is probably the hardest way to be honest. It's probably the hardest thing. Being honest with yourself is probably is one of the most difficult people we can be honest with, is just us. And health doesn't come from copying someone else's rules. We can learn from other people. We can take notes from other people, and we can add it to what we're doing to see if it works. But if it comes from understanding yourself well, it comes from understanding yourself well enough to build something you can live with. Because you are the one that has to live with it. You're the one that has to be honest enough with yourself to understand if something works or it doesn't. Because you can pound your square self into a round hole all day long for years, but if it's not really working, you're not truly living. You're just existing and making yourself do things that aren't the best for you. And I think that's what we do with the standard American diet. Most people just eat it because it fits their lifestyle, it fits who they are currently, and it fits their convenience needs, but they feel like total trash. But they don't associate the food that they're eating with trash, that they feel like trash, and then they want to go find a pill for the way that they feel, and then that leads them to another pill and another pill and another pill, and we just kind of get caught in this cycle. And if we want to truly help people, then we have to stop demanding transformations and start encouraging progress, right? And I want to touch on something here. It was Terry girl. I want to touch on her. So I'm going to skip ahead. If I'm missing anything, she's talking about how she sleep with earbuds and give you some crazy dreams. I imagine that is 100% the case. I used to go to sleep listening to music, but not on earbuds. But this past week's been crazy because people keep bringing me food from losing my mom. And I just want to give you our deepest condolences. And, I know last week I brought up, we wanted to, Tuesday, we wanted to talk about how things were going with hospice. And I had learned after the stream that your mother had passed away that weekend already. And my deepest apologies for that. I had my phone's always on silent when we go live, so it doesn't ring, it doesn't get text messages and ding and ding, and so people were texting me, letting me know that was a thing, and I truly apologize. And again, deepest condolences for your mom and you and your family and all that, and just want to say that we love you and we care about you, and if you need anything, just let us know. I don't know what everything, and I don't know what everybody's got going on, but we're here. But, Squeaky Monkey Coconut joined us just in time to say goodbye. But peace, love, and love to all of you guys, and I just want to say, again, reiterate, if we want to help people, we got to stop demanding the transformations and start realistically encouraging the progress. We got to look at these people, these influencers that we follow and people in our community, and we see them and they're sharing their weights every day and they're stepping on the scale and like, I'm up 5 pounds for the week. How could this happen? But it's okay. And we have to stop expecting people to be something that they're not, to be someone that they're not. And we got to help them become a healthier version of who they already are. One step, one change, one honest look in the mirror. That's what we need. Self-reflection. Who are we as an individual? Who are we as a person? And how does that impact the collective? Because really, this is a collective. It really is. We're all here to work together to help each other for emotional support, for everything that we may need. Because again, some people here, we're all they have. They live in a home where no one's there to support them mentally or physically or with food or whatever it is, And how do we convince people to walk away from processed food if they don't have something equally as convenient to replace it with? How do we get them to change their lives, right? But thank you for being here Sunday morning with me. I enjoy your company, and I enjoy coffee as much as I enjoy you. And I just want to say, thank you all again for being here and spending this almost 3 hours with me. And I love each and every one of you. And take care of yourselves. And I'll see some of you later today in various chats if I'm able to make it. Anyway, love and care for you all. Happy Sunday, everybody.